And we want to stay within that. That's very important that we do stay within that. But are you talking about the Junkanoo? When you say carnival, the first place your mind goes is either Brazil, Trinidad, or perhaps Mardi Gras, New Orleans, right? Now, we want that word Junkanoo to get out, like reggae, right? So when we say Junkanoo, Junkanoo for us is not just parade on Bay Street, right? It's our music, it's our dance, it's our way of life. It's a gift that God has given us to us to celebrate. So we need to promote it a little bit more. Tourism actually needs to take a hold of this word and begin to sell it. I know we sold Gumby over the years, Gumby being a summer program. And the summer program actually was designed simply because between June, July, August, and September, right? These are actually slow months, and so that is why they use the Gumby term. But we could still use Junkanoo for our summer promotion.
I got a quick question for you before we turn it over to Anastasia. You work so closely with these young people, and in terms of the responsibility they have to adhere to certain guidelines, who teaches them how to build these costumes? Because I know you guys are judging them like really strict.
Right. Well, in the school itself, right? There are coordinators in the schools who are actually experienced with the Junkanoo world. And then, of course, what the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture does is we have a number of Junkanoos working with the ministry. And so what we do, we'll station them to certain schools to guide and to show and to instruct, not to do the work. Because actually what we want is we want the hands-on. We want the kids to have the hands-on. And that is very important.
And so when you are on Bay Street and Junkanoo happens, you're a part of it, you see it, you watch it, what happens on the inside?
I'm transformed. It's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. When they used to put that cloak on, that's voila. I'm Percy tonight.
When you see the kids?
When I see the kids, it's the same thing. They're actually transformed. They're in this spirit and in this realm, the spiritual realm, because what we don't want people to think that Junkanoo is pagan, right? Because you get some people who think, don't get mixed up at that because that's of the devil, or that kind of thing. But Junkanoo is a celebration of life in the Bahamas.
So true, and I'm going to pass it over to Anastasia, but even when we see these wonderful themes like God's great creations and wonderful beings, Anastasia, here's Mr. Percy Bola Francis.
How are you?
How are you, my darling?
It is so good to see you. First of all, congratulations on 25 years.
Thank you so much, and we look forward to this year. It's a silver jubilee, we call it Jamboree. Yes.
And I want to thank you for everything, for all of your contributions to Junkanoo over the years. And I want to ask you, because there are some people who are skeptical about spending money on costumes, spending money on paper, spending money on glue. What do you say to people who are skeptical about that? Instead of spending the money on the 3 R's, reading, writing, arithmetic, they say it's a waste of time. What do you say to that? Are they being too linear in the way that they're looking at Junkanoo?
Yes, let me just say this, right? And I'm going to be bold in this
please.
statement. Junkanoo actually should be the word in the classroom. It should be the center of all of the subjects, right? So you have Junkanoo at the center, the dot at the middle, and then coming off, the radiuses that are coming off of the word Junkanoo is science, physical education, mathematics, English and comprehension, and so on, and social studies and geography, and all of those subjects will kind of come from that, because Junkanoo encompasses all of those subjects. If I'm building a costume, right, and I need symmetry, I need to have numbers, right? I need to have a certain engineering skill. Exactly. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. To be able to. Then, if I'm researching a theme, I got to go to the library. I got to go to the bookstores, buy my books. I got to go on the internet and see what all information I get. And so it keeps you dead busy. Now, what happens in the classroom, and this is what I've noticed going to some of the schools. You have a lot of students are bored, and they are bored to death. Their eyes are wide open, but they're fast asleep. All right? Now, what we have to do in the classroom, we have to excite them. So what we want to do, we want to I call it festive learning.
Right.
So you will run to want to, you'll get up there early, run to go to school. Because when Junkanoo time comes into school, that is what happens. Everybody gets excited. There's a spirit, you know, and then some principals use Junkanoo as a yardstick. All right, you got to brush up on your grades. All right. Now, if you can't brush up on your grades, you can't rush.
So it's an incentive.
It's an incentive, right? Take that pants out your socks, boys. Right. That is not decent. Right. All right. So you're looking at your parents now. Then you're looking at punctuality, right? You know, a guy struggling in school 9:30. You know, so you say, look, if you can't come to school on time, you can't rush. You know, and so why can't we? This beautiful and wonderful gift God has given us, right? Why can't we use this gift, right, to help us to get along? Now, I ain't talking about the promotional aspects yet, you know, of Junkanoo, right? Because the world needs to know about this wonderful thing we have.
How is the world going to know about Junkanoo, Mr. Percy Vola?
Because the Ministry of Tourism needs to take the thing, the baby, right, and rock the baby. Give him the milk, give him all the nutritional growth it needs to grow. Tell everybody about him, give him a good name, you know, and send him off. You know, you understand?
I absolutely understand. I worked in the hotel industry for about 10 years, and I'm telling you, there could be a complete lull in the entire hotel, and a Junkanoo group would come through the lobby, and tourists would migrate from the pool, from their room, from every corner of the hotel, excited and exhilarated because of just the beat of Junkanoo. They don't know what it is. It's a feeling. Of
course it is. It's a spirit.
Right.
You know, and so here's what happened. A young teacher out of Connecticut came to Nassau, the Nassau Beach Hotel, right? Heard Junkanoo one night, was amazed by it, right? And she's a music teacher as well, right? And she went back to school, spoke with the faculty, and said, look, I had an experience in Nassau that was phenomenal, right? I want to do something like this in our school. They say, you got to be crazy, right? She said, I really want to try. So they gave her permission to give it a shot. And they invited me up there. And they had a whole week of Junkanoo, right? They incorporated it in their subjects. Students wrote about it. They studied, they wrote, they had their paper, they pasted their costumes, they learned the pace. I mean, the pacing wasn't like our pacing, and the steps wasn't like our steps, you know, because, you know, they were white people. and so, but they knew more about Nassau and the Bahamas than I guess most of our children, right, who are even right here. You know what I was really disappointed in? Somebody asked a young lady on the news clip one night, who was the Deputy Prime Minister of the Bahamas, and she said Charles Maynard. Now, come on, man. I mean, we can't be that daft, you know. We have got to be able to find a way to educate our children, and we have a good thing. What is the one thing we have that we're excited about? What is the one thing we have that we're excited about? Can you answer that?
Junkanoo,
okay,
music,
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
We are an entertaining people by nature.
Of course, you know, that is the one thing we have, Junkanoo, and we need to use that.
Yes.
Right, for our betterment.
Absolutely.
I want to see Junkanoo dolls and Junkanoo craft, even a craft market, Junkanoo craft market. So, not quite like the straw market, but similar to the straw market, where we got hundreds of artists around here. They got work, but they can't get their work sold. And then we got to be able to find a way to better distribute the stuff that we do in the Junkanoo craft world. And we got to let the world know about this crazy stuff we do here. This phenomenon, what I call Junkanoo, that happens every Boxing Day and New Year's. And we have extended the Junkanoo period, the season, right?
Yes.
Because our junior parades now, right, are not just held here in Nassau. And tonight is Nassau, right? Tomorrow night is St. Andres, and then we'll go into Eleuthera, we'll go into Grand Bahama, right? We'll go into Exuma, we'll go into Abaco, we go into Long Island, we go into Andros, we go into Inagua, and so every island now has, you gotta come. You gotta come.
I would love to come.
You gotta come and you gotta bring the media with you, you know, not just the NS, everybody need to come.
Gems.
And help him. Gems, you know, Gems got to be there. And what has to happen, right? What has to happen, right, is that when you come, that will help to promote the island, right? Because then more people begin to hear about this stuff. So what do we need to do? We have to make our parades revenue generating. You understand what I'm saying?
I certainly do.
We got to be able to make money off this. New Orleans Mardi Gras, right? New Orleans Mardi Gras grossed $960 million in 2 weeks one time I was there. You understand what I'm saying?
So what is possible for us?
We have all the possibilities are there. All we need to do is see. I don't have anything about.
I wanted to say
Danny
that.
wants you to do the vocal
They are
shuffle for her.
watching around the world in Canada, in Atlanta. I'm getting text messages as far as Italy and Greece. They want to see you do your famous dance we were talking about on gemsradiobahamas.com. Let's go. Okay, good. What we're going to do is we're going to go to commercial break. That's Bola Francis, ladies and gentlemen. Giles, we're going to send it back to you in studio. When we come back, we have Mr. Anthony Morley, who will speak with Acting Permanent Secretary Mr. Balfour. We have the chairman. We have Georgie Bethel. He's out here in the building. We'll speak with the Director of Culture and some of these amazing Junior Junkanoo fans. It's the 25th Annual Junior Junkanoo Parade. I'm Gandhi Giles. It's back to you in studio.